Yes, it's another pre-game show on Chelsea Perspective, and I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I sincerely and wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone, and I welcome you all back to Chelsea Perspective. Please, if you're in the chat, can you help me? Let me know if you can hear me. That will be great. I'd appreciate that. And again, it's been a prolonged suffering period for the Chelsea fan base, and hopefully things will turn around for the good today. Hopefully we get a win. Um, Hopefully we get to see some of the players. Jorginho, for instance, who was reported to have contracted COVID-19. It turns out it was a false positive, and that's good news. But I don't think Jorginho will play today because I don't think even the club will prioritize this competition. But the hope is that the academy players who's joined them in training will be good enough to help the team win the game. Yeah, I can see Data is already in the chat, my good friend, and who's become a constant here on Chelsea Perspective, always supporting the channel. And I can also see my friend and brother, Ankit from Almighty Blues FC, always available to support the channel. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to this conversation. I will be looking at your comments while I wait for some people to join me in the panel so we can debate the lineup. And I don't necessarily expect anything to debate because the lineup will most definitely be what we're all expected to be. A few changes there so that we don't overstretch the first team players who's been playing for a long time now, and there are no substitutions, there are no rotation isn't possible given the squad is very, very thin at this point, given injuries and other COVID-19 that's been, you could say, ravaging the squad for us. Yeah, so if you have any question or anything you want to say in the chat, go ahead, drop it there. So I'm still waiting to see the lineup. But while we're waiting for the lineup to come out, let's look at whether these guys, I don't know if they have injury. So sorry for the glitch, which caused a short break in transmission, so to speak. How you doing, brother?
All good, all good. Yes, just kind of ended the stream, and I thought, yeah, definitely I'll jump on, but yeah, just delayed by a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I've not got a chance to look at the lineup yet. Do we have it out yet?
No, it's not. If you can see the application we're using right here, you can see the lineup isn't out yet, and
Okay, still
yeah, so we'll wait for it. I mean, like
I'm
as
just
I
in
was
time.
saying, yeah, as I was saying, it's been a prolonged suffering period for our club and the fan base. So hopefully, some good news today. A win will most definitely do us some good.
Absolutely.
It seems really likely Javier will start as our striker. I mean, it prevents. It does present an opportunity for Tuchel to experiment, and which is a good thing. And that also shows the younger players in the development team that that's a pathway to the first team. Not minding the circumstances, we have to be honest here, because it doesn't look like they'll get the chance without things being the way they are. So, Ankit, I want to get your thoughts on how things are right now at Chelsea, given how many players we have out injured and how many, players that have contracted the dreaded COVID-19. Yeah, what do you think about the situation overall?
Yes, you know what? My major concern is like, come on, injuries are something that is not under our control, and of course, there's a lot of luck to it. There's also, I know that I know Stav in the chat a lot of things. I've mentioned about our club having a better medical unit, so as to speak, and that's something which has helped in the past. But eventually, injuries are going to come in. Right? I know it's our bad luck that we've had so many together, plus the COVID times, the illnesses. But that's a different thing. That's not something that I really need to be worrying about the long run. For me, what the main worry is about the contract situation still, The contract situations are not yet sorted for the centre backs. I know there were flying reports about Thiago Silva, Christensen, but again, I don't see any major confirmation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there has not been any confirmation from the club yet
Mm,
in either case, which is very weird, especially as in Christensen, because he's a youngster. As in, at Chelsea is where he's made his name. As in things are looking forward for him. Like it's very kind of weird for me because yes, we are going back to the same thing. I know, but in terms of basically the season, right? As in definitely the injuries have taken their toll, and yes, I am in a way concerned that our league form is definitely very up and down, to say the best. Having said that, cup competitions is where we usually thrive in recent times. So I am really hoping that we go till the very end, and I know we might be forced to play some youngsters, which might be a blessing in disguise because they might be maybe just more motivated than some of our first team players who've been playing literally every game recently because of the injuries. So it might kind of work in our favor, honestly.
yeah. Before we talk about whether you know who was it Javi is, this question here, I think we cannot answer correctly right now because we have not seen the lineup yet. Hopefully, it will be out anytime soon. So let me check the fifth stand up and see maybe it's been released. And if you're in the chat, if you've seen the lineup anywhere, please do let us know. I'm looking at it now. Lineup is not out yet. Yeah. So okay, now, Anke, the question for you is, how well do you know this guy, Javi Vel?
Yes, so obviously he was in, I think, in one of the squads for the Champions League, if I'm not wrong. Again, anyone in the chat, do correct me if I'm incorrect, but I do recall that one of the recent Champions League games, he was definitely, named among the subs, and he trained with us, right? So again, I'm not like, I'm not going to say that I've watched him a lot. As in a little bit here and there is what at max is what I know about. But yes, he's not like a proper number nine. He's more like someone who kind of plays off the striker or someone who plays like on as a attacking midfielder. So he's more in that mode, like maybe a Pulisic mode, if I may say so. That is what he's more about. As in, not really dribbles a lot compared to Pulisic, but yeah, as in more in terms of someone who plays off the main striker. So I wouldn't expect him to be a number nine. As in, I'll be surprised if he actually plays like a false nine, honestly speaking, because again, Brentford, they are quite very very strong in the back in terms of their defenders. It depends who plays, but it'll be very surprising to see like a youngster playing the number nine role for me. But again, what are our options? That's what it comes down to.
Mm. Let's before we continue, let's welcome Matt. Matt, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. It's always a pleasure to have you around. And Data, thank you for providing the link. I've seen the lineup. Yeah, great point right there, Ankit. Matt, welcome to Chelsea Perspective. First, before we analyze the lineup, what do you think about the current situation at Chelsea? Because it's would you say there is some measure of carelessness in terms of how the players handle themselves? Because there are other clubs such as Arsenal. Arsenal, do they have any cases at all?
Not that I can think of.
Not like exactly. Even Liverpool doesn't have any cases. So why is it? It just seems as if it is very common with us. It keeps repeating. We've had so many players contract the dreaded disease. What is it? Some measure, like I've asked before, carelessness, or is it just how? Don't we have measures in place to avoid our players contracting the virus?
Yeah, I mean it's one of the things I think is quite hard. I think where you can see where it's so widespread. I think while there are teams that have got away with it, there is a lot of teams that have fallen foul to this. Whether it's big clubs, small clubs, I think you can put as much measures as you want, but at the end of the day, they're still going to go back to their families, and they may, let's say, Rudiger may be doing all the right things, but his wife might go out shopping and bring it back in. So it's one of them things I don't think you control. Like for me, I've currently tested positive. My whole family tested positive. This new variant is so transmissible at the moment that one person gets it in the household, you're all getting it one after the other.
Yeah, I've heard so much about how how highly that is how infectious the new variant is. It's called Omicron, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's by the way, Matt. Looking at the lineup here, we have what the app I'm using on the screen, they don't have it yet. We have Kepa Arrizabalaga, we have Simons, I don't know who that is, Chalobah, Sa, Cesar Spilicueta, Kovacic, Saul, Alonso, Barkley, Sunsop Bell, and Vale. Max, can you give us a rundown of the lineup and tell us more about the new names there, because I don't know any of them. I've heard about Javi Vale before from Data, my good friend who's in the chat right now. But somebody like Sunsop Bell, I don't know. And Simons, I do not know. And I believe some of our viewers will also be asking questions to get to know who those guys are.
Yeah, I mean, Jude Sunsop Bell, he's a striker. He had a very good spell at the beginning of last season, was in the under-18s. He signed from, I can't remember who he signed from now. I think it was Swindon. I could be wrong on that, but there you go. Came into the academy, was absolutely on fire, scoring goals, head, left foot, right foot, could do it all. Went up to the under-23s. Again, every time he come on the pitch was scoring, was doing really well. Everyone was bigging him up on Twitter. You get Alex Goldbergs, the guys who really like the youth for bigging him up. And then he got injured towards the end of the season. That kind of disrupted it a little bit. And he's come in, he's done all right. I mean, he's had to work his way back into the under-23s, but he's very young, 18, playing in the under-23s. He's way above where he should be for his level. And I think he's one of them players, I think he'll fit fairly well in. He's good. He can take the physicality quite well. So that shouldn't be a problem. It's just the fact that he's never played in a men's level before is the big question you've got behind it. As I said, he can score with his left, right, head. He can be very skillful when he wants. But what I like about him is when I've seen him, he's not one of them youth players that will just consistently do skills one after the other. He will know when to do it and when not to do it. So he kind of has that level head that you wouldn't expect with an 18-year-old. Harvey Vale, as you said, he can play. Normally he can play left back, but he's also playing further forward at the moment. He's played very attacking, very forward thinking. Again, very good crosser of the ball, which I think might be good. I'm surprised he's playing as far forward as I thought. I thought he'd originally come in for Alonso at left wing back, but I suppose we've got problems at the forward line, so that's where he's going to have to fit in. But yeah, he's a very talented player. Again, he's quite level headed. A lot of the common kids you've seen recently they're quite good at their decision making, which is surprising because our first team players can't do well with decision making. So sometimes you wonder why they're not in the squad sometimes for that. But yeah, I mean he's a very good player. Xavi Simons, I'm a bit surprised he come in. I was expecting Mbayamba to come in.
Why not Mbayamba, who's been training with the first team? And I mean this. Sorry.
Is Simons able to play wing back, Matt?
I think, as far as I am aware, he's always played right centre back.
Okay,
in
that's
the common
kind of
team.
weird. Then who plays probably? Then we're going for the back then.
I imagine I would imagine Azpi's going to play at wing back.
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
But
Yeah, Matt. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Welcome, Eric Blue, to Chelsea Perspective, and this is his debut. I hope you have a good game today, Eric. If you can hear me, welcome to Chelsea Perspective. Matt, go ahead, Matt. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of with Mbayamba is there's a late COVID test because I expected him to start. I think he's more of the senior player. He's been around the Barcelona setup previously before signing for Chelsea, has played more in the under-23 setup. I thought he would be the more experienced man. He's very physical, very tall. So I would expect him to be that perfect guy to sit in the middle. He'd be up for the physicality against Brentford, especially if Tony was going to start. He would have been up for that. But the only thing I can possibly think of is it's another COVID problem.
Because he's one of those talents that we've been asking questions. Why hasn't he started even a single game for Chelsea Football Club? Because he's got it in him. If you watch him, you think he's in his 30s, but he's just a teenager who's just that good. Eric, welcome to Chelsea Perspective.
Thanks for having me. I'm making my debut. Good to see all the other. I pretty much know everybody on the panel.
I know.
Big up to you. Big up to you.
Yeah, I know it's your debut, and that's why I said I hope you have a good game today. Since you used the term debut, yeah. But that's, by the way, Matt. Okay, before I go to Eric, what formation are we playing? Because I can't find the structure of the formation. I've looked at the app that I'm using. No formation there, so I'm a bit confused. And somebody, MCIG in the chat, has asked whether it is a 4-4-2, but we're not sure. Are you sure? Do you see it anywhere?
I mean, I imagine it's going to be the 3-4-3. I don't think Tuchel likes to change it up too much. I think we've got enough changes in the lineup that I think we'll stick to the same one. The youth teams, they do also play 3 at the back, so I think they're pretty used to it. So I don't see too much change. I expect it to be Sarr, Chalobah, and Simons as the back 3, as P will play on the wing back, Alonso, and then it will continue with there being Vale up front, Soonsup Bell in the middle, and Barkley on the right. It might come into a 3-5-2 a little bit because I'm a bit worried with that midfield with Saul, so it might be Barkley drops in that number 10 role. It's more of a 2 up top kind of thing because Val can also play up front. So I do think it will start off as a 3-4-3, but change in the game.
Yeah, most people have complained so much about the formation we play. I don't think formation has always been our problem because we create a lot of chances. We don't just put them away. But that's a topic for another day. This comment here, Matt, says Xavi Simons, funny enough, was at Brentford's academy before joining Chelsea. Do you think that's a factor in selecting him because he knows how they play?
I mean, yes, but they also know how he plays. So
he has two faces. He goes both ways.
I found it quite because when he put the comment up, I was like, oh, I completely forgot. I remember he's come from Brentford. It's been quite recent as well, so you must know the current setup to an extent. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, I'm excited to see him play because I've seen Mbayamba play quite a bit. I haven't seen Simons as much, so we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, and I recognize finally MC Mikael has found time to participate. He's a very, very busy man. It's always a pleasure to see him. So now, Matt, before we talk about let's start from Harveyville. I don't know, you haven't talked about it in details. Can you tell us more about him? Why he's selected over other options that are at the club? I know during our last stream, Data here, my friend, talked about him, that how good he's seen him perform. How about you? How well do you know him?
Yeah, he's a very good player. What I think is good about him, he's very versatile. He can play at left back, he can play at left wing back, he can play at left mid, he can play up front. He's played a lot of different roles in the academy setup. He's always been a starter for the under 23s. And he does provide that versatility that you could say Alonso. I suspect Alonso will have to come off at some point because he's played all the games, so he'll need to come off. And I think it's the aspect you can now then drop Vale into midfield, put Pulisic on the pitch or someone like that, and it's there for the versatility. He can be a bit more defensive if you want him to. He can be a bit more attacking if you want him to. His best ability is his crossing. He's a very good crosser of the ball, which is again why I'm surprised he's playing a bit more further forward than he does. I thought it'd be a good wing back to come up, press up, and then cross the ball in from deep. But he's also very technical. Got a good finish of him. He's a bit like Alonso. He'll in terms of the fact that he'll run into the box, make late runs, and he's got a quite good finish on him. So he's very talented, very versatile, which I think is the main reason why he's in the squad. There's been a lot of calls for him to be in the squad already. I know a lot of Chelsea fans on Twitter have been saying, if Alonso's not up to it, why don't we give Harveyville a go? I think I mentioned it in the Zenit game because why not? Because it was a dead match for us.
And do you think? Let me just a yes or no question. Do you think it's capable of executing that role very well?
I mean, in terms of the forward role, I am with Soon-Suk Bell as well. I'm not judging them at all because all of our forwards have struggled with it. So it'll be fun to see how these players do. If they can come in and put in a good performance, then we can go, well, why are the senior players not doing it then? Because I've heard a lot of people say about system, and that's been the problem for us. I don't think it's system. I think we've created a lot of chances. Simply just not enough of our forwards are putting the ball away. So I think maybe if these kids, if Soon-Suk Bell comes in and he plays really well, then that's the trajectory. You only need one game to impress.
I have a question, right? Sorry to cut you, but so basically, as in earlier in the stream, I think
Eric, you can come in anytime you want.
Yeah. So as in I was actually kind of liking this guy as in Harvey Vale with Christian Pulisic, but it's interesting that you actually compare it with Alonso because for me, Harvey Vale isn't he like naturally more attacking? That's basically as in someone who could actually kind of play even off the striker. Maybe that is not his best role, don't you think so? Compared to maybe an Alonso, because for me, I would actually like to see Harvey Vale up front. Like I'm actually guessing that it might just be a 3-4-1-2 because of the fact that Saul hasn't played well in the double pivot. He might just be in front of actually Barkley and of course Jorginho. So for me, a 3-4-1-2 is what I would like to see with maybe Harvey Vale and Nunza Bill getting an opportunity to kind of just express themselves. What do you think about that, Matt?
Yeah, I mean Harvey's played so many different roles within the academy. I think the upfront role could work well. I mean he's linked up with Soon-Suk Bell as well in the academy, so it's not like that's a partnership that we're just trying out in the first game. They've played it before, but he is also very good at his crossing. So I just looked at it more at the fact of Alonso's played 4 or 5 games in a row. We haven't got Chilwell back. We may not have Chilwell back. So Alonso does need a rest at some point, and that's why I thought that'll be where he fits in. But I do think he'll move into that role in the second half. But yeah, I mean, he's if I was to say his best position, I probably would say that left wing role is probably the best at the moment because he is really improving in his attacking aspect, but he's also very defensively good as well. Almost like Willian, as much as people hate him or love him, he did do a lot of good, he did a lot of good defensive work. But Harvey Val will do that defensive work.
I'm 100% with Matt on this one, because I think someone who kind of brings both the aspects, and that is really something that Chelsea, we've seen players fitting in well and staying at Chelsea for long, if they're able to bring both the aspects, and that's something that a lot of our attackers actually miss. I think Hudson-Odoi, fantastic player on the ball in terms of going forward, but maybe someone who's able to track back as well as maybe a Willian. I think that is a great example actually. So yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, especially if you got someone like Barkley and Sal in the midfield, where they're not exactly known for their work rate, especially at the moment. So you do need energetic players. And
yeah, don't give that away because we're still talking about Saul. And then the 2-6 is there if that's the way the structure is, and we're not sure yet. So don't give that away, Matt. And before I come to you, Eric, I'd like people in the chat and wherever you're watching from, whether Twitter, that if we have up to 20 people, then we'll do a giveaway of a Chelsea, an authentic Chelsea polo shirt. Or if you're outside the United States and the UK, you get the cash equivalent. So please, if you know anybody that you want to get to participate, up to you. So now I'm going to come to you, Eric. Now, what do you think about the lineup overall, and how well do you know this, should I say, new entrants, the kids, the Copham kiddos, as somebody called them in the chat?
Yeah, I'm not. I won't pretend like I watch the youth games and know the players, so I'm not the most knowledgeable on them. But I do know some names. Obviously, I know about Harvey Vale. It would be. I'm just excited to watch, how they perform because I don't really get to see them a lot. I'm mainly focusing on the first team. So players like Harvey Vale and Soon-Suk Bell, I'm very much looking forward to how what they do. So that's I'm excited. Some people think it's a negative thing seeing so many youth players. I actually thought we would see more, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. I don't think it's a bad thing. So
No, it's not. It's not a bad thing in any way. And also, given the circumstances, like I said during the start of the show, that the Chelsea fans have suffered for a prolonged period now. The injuries, the COVID situation. So these kids, I mean, it's a perfect opportunity to give them chances. And who knows if they do well? I think Tuchel. I've known him. I've followed him since his time at Mainz. He's good at bringing in academy players, and if you do well, he can nurture you to become an even better player. So I hope to see that. Now I'm going to start with you. Given the players to see that, do we know who are the 2-8s? If we're playing 2-8 and a striker up front, who do you think will be the 2-8s, Matt or Eric, whoever want to go first?
I think okay. So the obvious one is Ross Barkley, isn't it? So I think he would definitely be one of the 8s. Saul maybe could play there, but I'm not sure who the holding player would be. I don't think we have anybody who can maybe Chalobah, but considering his injury issues, I'm not sure he can play by himself. So maybe Barkley. Sorry, maybe Barkley and Saul would be the 2-8s, I'm assuming. I can't think of anybody else who fits that profile better from the starting lineup. So,
yeah, I think it's difficult to tell because we can't see the structure anywhere. Usually in the app that I use, usually when I go there, I see the structure, the exact formation that we will deploy. But this case, I think it's different. Probably those guys that provide the info on the app, they themselves are confused as we are right now. Now, I think, who is the Bell guy? Do you know him, Matt?
Yeah, Soonsup Bell is the striker. Very well. Can score with his left, right, head. Played really well in his debut season. Moved from the under-18s to 23s at a very early age. But then got injured towards the end of the season. Kind of disrupted the end of the season, and then coming into this season, he's had to fight for his place back. But he's a very clinical finisher, very skillful, but can get into the physical battle. He's a player that a lot of the typical common people have been talking about and bigging up for a long while. But he is very young. That is my one point. He's never played any first team men's football at all. So we'll have to wait and see how he does in that aspect. He is again very adaptable. He can play more of a target man role if you want him to, but he can also run in behind. So he's a very versatile striker. And whatever role Tuchel wanted to do, I'm sure he'll do that. Whether it's a partnership with Vale or do it out front and hold it up for the players around him, the forwards.
Yeah, I'm glad we have you around here because I know nothing about these kids, unfortunately. I think I'm going to have to start watching their games. So let's get to the area where we have established players. We have probably Saul and Kovacic. Now, here's my concern here. And Matt, I'll come to you later. We have Saul and Kovacic probably as the 2-6s. And then we have a defense where we've made so much changes. We have Sarr, we have Simons. Chalobah is an established player. He's experienced a bit. Cesar Azpilicueta, the skipper himself, is experienced. So he's been there for a while. But usually when I think we'd go for a stronger 6. The 2-6s should, in this case, be strong enough to protect the defense. Because what I've learned of recent is in the absence of N'Golo Kante, we've conceded more goals. And in all the games, 4 games now that we've conceded more than a goal under Thomas Tuchel or so, he did not participate in any of them. So that shows his importance. That shows how well he protects our defense. So why leave out a defined defensive midfielder such as N'Golo Kante in such, you could say, if we're taking this game seriously, where we have inexperienced players at the back, not our best defensive line. We don't have our best defensive line. So why not go for a solid 6'8", 2 6'8" that are able to protect the defense? Because Saul will not do that. If that changes today, I will take it. Kovacic is good. He tracks back, but at the time, it just looks as if he just let the players go past him and just let them, okay, let me know when you're done. That's how I see it. So why not go for a strong 2 6'8" that are able to, at least one, like what's his name, Kante, who is able to protect the defense properly. So I want, what's your thought, Eric? Let me start from you.
Yeah, I think the obvious reason would be the worry that more players will get injured. I think he's trying to rest players. That is the most obvious reason why he would do that. To be honest, that's the part of the teams that I'm most concerned about. I don't think the back line is good enough, even against a team like Brentford. I'm actually concerned how we can defend as a team, you know. And you talk about the double six, but I don't think we have better profile players right now, you know. So I think we're just trying to make the most of what we have. I think Kovacic is a huge improvement. I think he would offer more. So that's a positive. So hopefully we can have a much slightly better balanced team, you know, with Kovacic in there. But for the back line, you know, Chalobah, who, you know, he was injured. He had to come off against Wolves at halftime. I'm not sure. I'm a little bit worried, to be honest. And then Malangsa on the left, you know, he's not very convincing to me. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, to answer this question, yeah, great input there, Eric, for recognizing that just have to make do with what we have, and given the circumstances, this is the best we can do in that midfield, and that is the truth. So we just have to hope for the best for the guys there. And Kovacic is a big upgrade, like you mentioned, for you know, compared to what we've had there in the absence of Kante. So yeah. Now, Matt, this question here is Brentford fielding a full strength team? I do not think so, because when we showed the lineup, somebody in the chat said that he did not recognize any of those players because they have COVID outbreak themselves, right? They have a couple of first-team players out. So they themselves also, they probably may have picked players from the academy to make up the team.
They've got a couple. I think it's more injuries than COVID now. I think the COVID people have come back. It is a fairly strong lineup. There is only a few players that you can pick, and most of them are on the bench. So whether it's just a fact of match fitness, you got Tony's on the bench, Onyeka and Norgard are the only players that I look at and go, they should be in the first team to pick out. So I think it's only a couple of changes, which for a cup competition for Brentford, I'm surprised that the team is as strong as it is, but they've had the 2-week break nearly now to rest up, so they don't really need it. But one thing that is interesting is former Chelsea youth player Miles Peart-Harris is on the bench against Chelsea, so it'll be typical for him to come and score and win the game in the second half against us.
So you do have a bad feeling too, like
it'll just be typical Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that doesn't happen. We need some good news. We need something positive, you know, to cheer us up because we suffered enough this period. Now, let me talk about other aspects that this came to mind. I mean, we've grown accustomed, whether we like it or not. And I know some people refer to it by another term. Whether we like it or not, Chelsea is a team structured to play with a register. And that's why, in the absence of Jorginho, we've struggled. We've struggled to connect our midfield, our defense to our midfield, and then our attack. So now we don't have Jorginho. Kovacic cannot do the job of a register. We know that. He's good at beating the press. He's press resistant, but he's in no way a register. We seem to struggle in the absence of Jorginho, and I'm sure I've watched Saul on occasions, and I've watched him play for Chelsea. I don't think he can do the job of a register. What do we do? How do you think that midfield would operate? That's the question I have right now.
Yeah, I mean that's why I kind of looked and already suggested that Barkley would drop in and it would be more of a midfield three, because I think you need that extra man. Sal is not the most energetic player in the world, and I think you need that in, especially when you haven't got a Kante. Kovacic, again, he's coming back, so I know last game he was a bit shaky, but I expect him to be a bit better today. Ideally, we wouldn't be putting Sal out at all. I think if we were to go in this game, I think we would have put Jorginho and Kovacic. Unfortunately, Jorginho had his positive case, which then turned into a false positive, but then he's not trained at all. So I don't think Tuchel's ready just to throw him in like that. And then Kante, he mentioned about how it was very irresponsible for him to play 90 minutes on Sunday, but again, Tuchel said he had nothing else he could do about it. Had to take Chalobah off because of the injury, so Kante could not physically come off. So that's why he said he won't play at all today. I think he's on the bench, but only for the fact that we need to make a 9-man bench. So I don't think Kante will even come on unless we desperately need him. Because Kante is a player that we know, as good as he is, as important as he is to the squad, we have to manage him. He can't play 2 or 3 games a week. And coming up to January, where we've got Liverpool, City, Tottenham, we need Kante fit. So I think Tuchel has to really tread careful with Kante. And unfortunately, with Jorginho, false positive, Kovacic just coming back, Tuchel's got his hands tied behind his back at the moment. I think he wouldn't put this lineup out. But yeah, I think it'll be a free midfield just to help out and kind of take away that idea of a regista, because if you've got an extra man in midfield, it will work a bit differently, more like a double pivot in a way. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think we have, great explanation. I think we have the structure now. It is 3-4-3. And by the way, I have to give credit to the owners of this app. It's called FortMob. They're not paying me. I just like it because it makes the whole process seamless for me. And thanks to them, hopefully they're not going to sue me for copyright. The name is called FortMap. They have, you can download it from Google and also Apple. It's a good app. Now, if you look at the structure, it is 3-4-3. Cesar Azpilicueta, I suspected, right centre-back position. Sarr, left centre-back position. Chalobah leads the back three. He's capable of doing that. Sarr, as we've discussed, Sarr and Kovacic in the middle. Simons as the right wing back guy there. And Alonso, left wing back guy there. Vale is actually, Matt did mention it. Vale is not the number 9 guy. It is Bale. So good to see the structure, but that's, by the way, and I want to let the people in the chat know that in a few minutes, I will run the giveaway, even though we don't have up to 20 minutes, 20 people in the chat, but that's fine. I will run the giveaway. Just, all Chelsea fans are up. We've suffered enough this period. So, Matt, looking at it now, the front three, based on this structure, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd say is it's more likely Barkley will be on the right than the left, but I think they'll fluid and move about anyway within the lineup. But yeah, I mean, it's how I expect. I still expect possibly within game it may start off like this when we start in the kickoff, but I do expect Barkley to still possibly come in and in game when we're off the ball, drop into that midfield straight away and form almost a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1-2, however you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised with how it's been lined up. It'll be interesting to see how some of these boys do it. I think Twitter, no doubt, will look at these boys, and if one of them struggles, they're going to get slagged off because it's Twitter. But for me, I'm not going to look at them. If they make a mistake, I'm not going to blame them because this is just an open audition. See out what you got. We can't blame them for anything because they've just been put in an awkward situation. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and it's a good thing to see we still have the big guns on the bench. So probably if things ain't going our way, I think they probably come on to help stabilize things, especially in the midfield. I'm really concerned because the change is quite a lot. Although these guys, they train together, but training is a whole lot different from the match proper. Now, coming to you, Eric, what do you think? What do you think will have? That is the approach to this game. Do you think we'll see these guys, we'll see N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, or any of these guys, even if things are going our way?
I think it's more likely that we will see them if things are going our way, because I don't see the sense in bringing them, off the bench to try and help us win the game. Maybe if we're 1-0 down in the 70th minute, I don't think we can expect much difference when we bring on players who are half fit, not fully up to speed. So maybe if we're comfortable, which is probably unlikely, they'll come off the bench and we'll see if they'll have a few minutes. But I think 3-4-3 is most what we most likely will see. I think that's what we should expect. And obviously, as you just said, it's going to probably change, during the game. It's probably going to change a little bit. Maybe it will change to a 3-5-2, and then Barkley can, be an extra midfielder. But it's very interesting. I don't expect the team to play so well, because what usually happens is when players don't really have the chemistry with each other, it doesn't tend to work the way we want. We've seen that a few times with our second string team. It doesn't always click the way we would like it to.
In every go ahead.
Yeah, it's the chemistry won't be great, but I think the youth players will bring some energy that we've been lacking. I think they will help us look more dangerous going forward, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay, Matt, I think that great point right there. You two can go ahead with the conversation. Let me prepare the giveaway too, so that I can run it in a few minutes, because it's almost time for the game. Then we can round off after the giveaway.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think this game's gonna go in terms of the play? Do you expect Brentford to sit back at all, or do you think they're gonna come out and press us?
No, Brentford. And yeah, people made a lot about the press conference from Thomas Frank. I think Brentford will try and go for it. I don't think they will sit back. They will do what they did in the Premier League match against us. I think they're going to press us. They're going to try and put us under a lot of pressure, especially early on. I don't think they're going to sit back. So it's going to be a very tricky game for us. Someone put in the comments that teams are smelling blood, and I think it's right. I think that teams they want to get one over on us. I mean, they've been doing it. They've been trying to mess us up, because whenever anybody plays Chelsea, it's the cup final. So everybody wants to beat the European champions. So I think they'll try and get us. They'll try and put us under a lot of pressure. But we have to weather the storm.
Yeah. Do you think that might work in our favour a little bit? Because obviously the Wolves game, the Leeds game, there's a couple other games we've struggled against teams that do sit back and play in a low block counter attack on the transition. Do you think with Brentford coming out of us, with them leaving space in behind, do you think that might suit us a little bit more? I know we struggled towards the end of the Brentford game last time, but do you think this will suit us a little bit better?
Yes, I do, because like you said, teams just sit very deep and make things difficult for us to break them down, because they know that it's a tactic that will work. So if they go for it, they will open up and we'll have more space. So it's good, but we have to make sure we, if we can beat the press, if we can, overcome the pressure, and we are able to spring the counterattack, that's when we can take advantage. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, because I look at it and go, I do agree with you. I think Brentford always like to play a certain style of pressing out and going at teams. They rarely sit back at all. So yeah, I think that will be the issue. I think you'll actually, where we've normally moaned about the front three, I think that the issue will more translate to the midfield now. Can that midfield, especially the weakened midfield, take that press? I think the front three their problems should go away, at least for the meantime, because they're going to have a bit more space and behind to do what they need to do. But I do think it would be the midfield that we'll have to watch out for to see if they can cope. Because if we get overrun in that midfield, then there's nothing we can do because they'll stop the long balls and will become predictable. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for holding the fort for me while I prepare for this. And if you want to participate in the giveaway, all you have to do is type in the chat hashtag Chelsea Perspective. That is # Chelsea Perspective, and no caps at all. And the people in the panel, Matt, I know you've won it, so you cannot participate. Sorry. Eric, you can just type in hashtag Chelsea Perspective in the chat to participate in the giveaway. And if you're on Twitter, wherever you're watching from, you can come join us on YouTube to participate in the giveaway. So I'll wait for you guys to type in # Chelsea Perspective so we can run the draw. So Matt, overall, this opportunity for these kids right now, MCIG, no capital letters at all small letters. This game, opportunity for the Copham kids, let's put, or kiddos like somebody in the chat that put it. Do you think it's just it will continue or just it ends after this?
Yeah,
it seems like they're just part of the whole process right now because of the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if Zoonsup Bell comes on and scores 2 goals, it's unlikely that he's going to come into the side and just play because we've got a £100 million striker and Romelu Lukaku there. But I think what it does is it furthers your development. They may go and look, well, you've actually shown that you can do really well at the men's level. So why don't we look at a loan move for you to go out and prove yourself? And there's nothing better in terms of trying to impress a manager than doing it in front of his eyes. If Tuchel sees how well you've done, like how Trevor Chalobah did in the summer, he'll look at you and you'll be in his mind. And when pre-season comes next summer, whoever impresses can come in and do their thing, and hopefully that will allow them to come into the team a bit more. I mean, Chalobah, as we said, none of us expected him to come in. He did really well pre-season. He's going to come in. You will look at next season, Conor Gallagher, Amanda Broha. You got Levy Colwill in the Championship at Huddersfield. They'll come into pre-season next year and they'll be looking to do exactly the same thing. So I think it's an opportunity for one of these boys to kind of put their name in Tuchel's mind when other times like this come up, when other games like this. Don't forget we've got Chesterfield in the FA Cup 3rd round. So again, if there's still COVID issues around at that point, the youth players maybe look to be called on again, because again, that's a League 2 team, a 4th Division team. So if they can do it against Brentford, then they might be called up again. So it might just bring more smaller opportunities to come up. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't want to put any pressure on them because there's enough pressure as it is.
Eric, what do you think? Because there's a way you would treat them if they put up a good performance today and help us win this game, and the senior players started all recovering from their injuries, and you drop them back to the academy. I don't think it would be good. Excuse me. So, Eric, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because that creates a very, very sensitive situation that must be handled carefully. What do you think?
I think Tuchel should try to motivate the players, and not that they did too much motivation, but he should try and give them a feeling that if you perform, you might get more game time. You know, if I know that the injury crisis we have isn't something that happens all the time, but you know, they might get more chances in the future. They might get an opportunity. So I think they know, you know, they have an idea that that's the case anyway. If they look at the team, you know, with all the players who broke in, I know it wasn't under Tuchel, but Tuchel is the kind of manager who isn't afraid to use young players. So they need to just try and, you know, perform at their best, not let the nerves get to them too much, and just, you know, try their best and play for the badge, because they know what it means.
Yeah, especially the academy kids, because I think I had a conversation with somebody saying it just seems as if the academy kids are the ones that play with all their heart. They play like like their lives depend on it more. On that is, they even give more than those that are signed from outside the club. But that's by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and run the giveaway to Just Viola. Understand that she cannot participate. And Steve Chelsea understand that he cannot participate. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. So the correct stream is this: Brentford versus Chelsea team analysis and score prediction. And good luck to everyone. So let's see what happens. Draw. We have 5 people there. That is not possible. Steve Chelsea, did you type that again? So I'm going to rerun it. No, please. We're not going to do that. Not Steve Chelsea. No, not at all. So I'm going to run it again. Steve Chelsea, if you had a comment there about it, please remove it. So it's funny to you. Don't remove your comment, please. Okay, let's run it again one more time. Let's see. Draw. I hope it's not seeing your comment again.
Well, let's just hope it doesn't pick him.
Bobby Fairview, congratulations to you. You're the winner. And if you're in the United States, Canada, I've had issues shipping the shirts to somebody there. To be specific, Julius Chuhadi, who was my 100th subscriber then. It took a lot of money to ship it to him. So if you're in Canada or outside the United States and the UK, you get the cash equivalent, which is around $50. So congratulations to you, Bobby Fairview. And we can now go ahead with the show. And more importantly, more thanks to you for always being in the chat, always retweeting Chelsea Perspectives tweet. You've contributed so much to the growth of this channel, and hopefully soon we can all rejoice on the growth that we've achieved so far. Yeah, so coming back to you guys, you two on the panel. Eric, I'll start from you. What do you think the outcome of the game will be, and why do you expect that?
Yeah. I hope obviously we win. I think it's going to be a difficult win. So I'm going to say Chelsea to score first, but we will concede and we will win on penalties. So 1-1 at full time and we'll win on penalties.
1-1 and we win on penalties. And I'm glad we have Kepa between the sticks. So I'm not afraid of penalties. Where the issue lies is those guys that would take the penalty, whether they're really good at it, you never know. But we'll see. Matt, how about you? What do you expect?
Do you know, I don't want to say this for the sake of it, but I had the same scoreline I put up yesterday. So 1-1, Chelsea win on penalties. It's going to be typical heart attack FC.
Okay, I think Chelsea will win this one 3-1. If they score, I don't see them scoring more than 3, but I think Chelsea will score goals today. Hopefully the kids do us proud and get the result for us, and then get more chances to participate in the first team. So now I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to Eric Blue. I've tried, we've had conversations, we've planned for him to be on the panel on Chelsea Perspective, but he hasn't had the time. He's a very busy guy, but I'm happy he's found time to be here. But today there's nothing to debate. I know Eric, he loves good debate, but today we're forced to do what we have, and everything just came out as we all expected it to come out. So there's nothing to debate there, but still it was a fun stream and good to have Eric on the panel. And Matt, please, let's start from Matt. Please take some time I'm not going to praise you anymore. You've been here more than 1,000,000 times, so I know you. But the most important thing is that I love you so much, and I have the relationship I have with you. You're a good friend. You've over time become a brother. Tell us about your podcast and any other. If you have anything planned, let the viewers know.
Yeah, so we're kind of going on a little kind of rebranding. We're focusing a bit more on the Twitter page and the Instagram page. We've just a lot of match day content, daily content. So follow us at WWC Pod Articles. In terms of the podcast, we are now doing a men's show every week and a women's show every week. So we're trying to expand out to all forms of Chelsea. We have done one women's show for the FA Cup final where we beat Arsenal 3-0. Haven't done one since just because I've had COVID. The family's had COVID, so it's been a bit of a hectic last couple of weeks. But at least by the new year, we will have 2 podcasts coming out every week, one on the men's and one on the women's. And I suggest all you guys come on, give it a listen with the women's. The game is getting much better. It's developing. And it'll be nice just to together all learn more about not just the men's side of Chelsea, but the women's side, because they're a fantastic team, winning a lot of trophies and dominating at the moment.
Excellent, and I look forward to it, and I look forward to coming to your podcast to discuss seasons.
Oh God!
Seasons.
Our predictions.
Yeah, and really, Vieira is really surprising me. But again, I'll still say it is not pragmatic enough. I hope he becomes even more pragmatic to get more results, because there are games you thought they're going to win, and because it's not pragmatic enough, it ended in a draw, or they ended up losing, I think, 1 or 2 of them. So, Eric, to you, brother, tell the viewers about you and how they can reach you if they want to reach you. And by the way, I will make sure to leave the complete information of those that have been on the panel. My brother and friend Ankit, who's left, I'll make sure to provide their information in the comment section so you can reach them if you want to. So go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming. I'm very happy to be finally on one of your streams. Your channel is really good. Honestly,
Thank you.
I can't speak enough about how good your channel is, how unique. Just really happy to be on here. I'm mainly on a YouTube channel called The Blue Lounge. That's where I mainly go. I'm one of the panelists. We just mainly talk about Chelsea. That's like 99% of what we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I recently joined Twitter. I'm not really, involved in social media, but because of the Chelsea connection, I decided to join Twitter. And obviously, it's easier to do, to join streams and things like that. So that's why I joined Twitter. My handle is @Eric Chelsea, all one word. So if anyone wants to follow me, that's where they can do it. But please, obviously, subscribe to this channel, but also subscribe to The Blue Lounge. Very easy to find on YouTube. Just type in The Blue Lounge and you should see it. And that's it.
All right, people, you've heard the man, and I'll make sure to leave their complete information in the description section. Like I said before, check Eric out, and also check Matt out, check WordlWideChels Sport out, and WordlWideChels YouTube channel out. Subscribe to them, and please make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Chelsea Perspective if you haven't. More importantly, make sure you click on the bell notification button so that you will get notification whenever we go live. And we have a show coming on tomorrow called Blue Morning. It was supposed to be on Saturdays, but for this week's, we'll put it, it will hold tomorrow because Saturday is Christmas, so we don't want to do that to anybody. Again, I appreciate you all, everybody in the chat, MC Carl, Josh Viola, Data, and Steve Chelsea. If I leave your name out, please, apologies to you. I'm only a human being. And thank you all for providing great value to this stream. I hope to see you guys another time. Bless you all.